girls, and welcome to the Cafe Gallery. I can't really clap. I'm high. I know. I'm like gimpy girl right now with my. It's hard to clap with second-degree burns, but I'll do it the best I can. Well, and that's what I get for, trying to make tea for John because he's going to be going and it's cold. And I just spilled boiling hot water on my hand. So I just
you're a first-degree burn for us. Ooh.
I have no idea what I'm supposed to take from that. But thanks, I guess. I don't know. I'm not that harsh for you guys. All right. Hi. And I'm really looking forward, and I know that the man is running late because his first class that he is teaching is tonight. But Jeff Helgeson, our phenomenal feature, Jeff Helgeson is our feature this evening. He's like, I'm going to take a break at 7:30 and I'm going to get over there as quickly as I can. So I'm going to start this thing up right now. I don't even have the sign-up list, so I'll just have to figure out. I don't know who's. I can't even remember. I believe, I think it was Heidi, but I think it might be Ted Ketchum first. But thank you, darling. But I thought I would read a piece or two and go on a humor route or something. So I'm going to not even tell you the title of this one, and you can laugh with me, I guess. So I was in the cul-de-sac on my street, and I had to use the washroom. So I thought of going to the bathroom in my house. It was really gorgeous, the bathroom in my house. It had floor-to-ceiling windows, so you could see the world while you were going to the bathroom. But I thought that since people were on my street all going to the neighbor's garage sale, that I shouldn't use my bathroom when everyone else could be seeing me from I was sitting there on the toilet. Looking back, why did I have a bathroom like that with floor-to-ceiling windows in a populated area? I mean, was I trying to expose myself by having this exposed bathroom so I could feel like I was communing with nature or something? I don't get it. Either way, I walked to the neighbor's house. I assume I asked their permission for you to use the bathroom, but I really can't even remember. And I went into their small bathroom, closed the door, pulled my pants down, and sat on the toilet. And I looked up, and I saw that the bathroom had two doors on opposite adjacent walls. And that's when someone walked in and went through to the other door to go outside. And I thought, wait a minute. I'm using the bathroom. Why did somebody just pay no attention and just walk through? But then somebody else walked in to walk right through to the other door again. So I said, excuse me, what are you doing? I'm using the bathroom here. And they responded, but this is the only way to get through. And I'm sure there was another way through. And then I realized that these people were all there for the garage sale. They were just walking through to look at more of my neighbor's belongings for sale. As more people came walking through, I couldn't believe that strangers were walking through this bathroom, never even noticing me while I was sitting on the toilet with my pants down because they were just so focused on looking through somebody else's belongings. I don't know. I don't think I have a bathroom issue, but I just don't like feeling so exposed. I don't know, you ever have strange dreams like, what? I can't use my bathroom with the floor-to-ceiling windows. Really? I have a bathroom like that? What? So I thought I'd go on a different theme, I won't give you the title of this one either. I know I truly belong to her. And I know I can never come to her, and she can never claim me as her own. So I am reduced to waiting outside here, standing at vigil year after year, waiting for fleeting glimpses as she walks by. I know she cannot come to me. I know this is a line she cannot cross, that woman with those morals that keep her from me, as my stiff wooden bones keep me from running to her. I know Bartholomew stands guard while I wait, but he does whatever I say. He lets me go on thinking of her this way, lets me thinking of her and how we are truly meant to be. I know it's sad, but I cannot be a part of her life, lead her minions in her annual desires to join us together in the world. But I've been hardened by the coldness of time, when all I can do in this world is wait for her arrival, even if it is only to see her gaze at me defiantly before she leaves my sights again. If you happen to see me and think you see a tear rolling down my wooden exterior, know that it is not tears, because my wooden heart has turned to stone, so I could keep this steely gaze as I continue to wait for her. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now thank you. Now I thank Heidi was here first, but I'm still going to give it up for, I hope he's got material, if he's there, for my man who actually has a feature coming up. So I'm thinking we have to talk something about another open mic. I can't believe this. But Kathleen Schanmeider and Ida, whose name I cannot remember, Ivanovich, I don't remember her last name.
It's Ida.
It's Ida, but...
Yeah, it's a,
I don't know her, but I saw her.
yeah, Javana.
She ran a poetry open mic from forever ago for saloon poetry, and her and Kathleen Schanmeider are getting together to run a corporately sponsored, governmentally sponsored poetry saloon at noon on every other Wednesday. It started today and it's running through April right now. If they get grant money, it'll run past that.
Oh, so it's only on Gallery
It is-
Cabaret nights then?
No, it is on every Wednesday. Every Wednesday.
Everyone.
From noon to 1, maybe as late as 1:30, that's it.
I got
Four
you.
people rotating.
And there are 4 hosts that are going to be doing it, as Janine here is like pointing things out to me. Janine is one of the hosts for these things. It's just rotating hosts.
And you're going to be there?
And I am one of the rotating hosts as well. And I said I can only do it on nights that I happen to be doing this poetry open mic. So I happen to be hosting it on February 27th and March 27th. And in fact, in February, Janine, Ravislut, and Tom Roby are the features in February. And and in March, I believe that Bob Rashkow and very possibly, as long as work things work out, Mr. Patrick Curley will be the features. Woohoo, indeed. So, definitely. So, I mean, it stinks that we are like, oh, well, these are the unemployed people getting together. But even if you're working downtown, you take a stroll over at lunchtime and you totally can to read stuff, which is really phenomenal. So there were a lot of good people that came here on that first get-together. We had to get out there. They're like, hey, we got to be out by 1:30, really. But it was a really, really good time. And as I said, there are rotating hosts for this thing. And it's a good time. I'm just going to leave it at that. And I believe, because Janine Ravislut is hosting, she actually has the first person I want to read tonight as a feature next week. Woo! Is that on the... What's it? The 6th. Oh my gosh, on February
It's like right
6th.
around the corner.
And so,
Susan Moss, David Gatchuk, and Susan Moss.
when you get on up here, you can talk all about your lineup for Love, but she's going to be hosting it in a week, so that's going on as well. But one of the people that is going to be the feature in her thing in a week is Puddinhead Press Master himself. Please give it up, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Dave Gatchuk. Come on!
Yeah.
Janet had an injury recently. She really, you were talking about skin grafts for that little thing.
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
No, I was not.
I mean, somebody just had both their arms replaced. Some vet just had both his arms replaced. That was incredible. But anyways, yes, I'm featured next Wednesday at the Cultural Center downtown. I'm a bum, so I could do that if I want to. So, and Janine's gonna buy me lunch, so that's
All right.
Okay.
what?
It's actually in the Randolph Cafe within the Chicago Poetry Saloon. I'm not taking from your time. I'm not taking from your time. It is the Poetry Saloon at noon, and it is at the Randolph Cafe, which is a place on the north side of the Chicago Cultural Center.
And
there's
it runs
food there.
from noon.
No, because it used to be a cafe, but it's no longer a cafe, but they kept the name, the Randolph Cafe.
Janet,
Yeah, some dim
it's
sum
from
down the
noon-
street.
I believe you can, because I brought snack food and I ate it, and there was an issue.
Janet,
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
noon until what?
1:30 is a max late. Can't do any later. It's supposed to be an hour. It's supposed to be an hour long.
Long. It's supposed to be an hour long, but it might run as long as 1:30, but it cannot be past 1:30.
That's cool.
Can't we get drinks there?
Okay. Are we done with announcements?
Yes.
I think so.
Okay.
I damn sure will.
I don't know where I'm featured after that, but tonight I'm here for Jeff Helgeson's feature.
We're gonna
And I got some Jeff's books for sale back there, so if you want one of Jeff's books, you can buy it now. And then I can feed myself, because it doesn't sound like Janine's going to give me lunch.
And if you buy it now, Jeff Hellison might sign it for you.
Hey, David, I'll bring you a box lunch.
Okay, that's the best I could get. You know, poets don't get paid a lot for their work, but if I get a box lunch, it's worthwhile. Okay, low on carbs though.
Bento box.
Lots of fruit and stuff like that.
Lots
That'd
of
be great.
fruit.
Complex carbohydrates, stuff like that.
Absolutely. A little wine?
A little, oh, can we drink there?
No.
Loaf of bread, a jug of wine.
But, ladies and gentlemen of the internet, we're at the Gallery Cabaret, 2020 North Oakley, and they have alcohol here. And it's one of the best places, the best neighborhood bars to drink at. So come on out, 2020 North Oakley, just to visit. It's one of the coolest bars around. This was the first place I was featured at, and I'm going to do a poem that I did the first time I was featured here. It's called The Best of Sex and Violence. I saw a movie last night, and it's a real movie. The Best of Sex and Violence. And when a child takes her daddy's shotgun and blows away her playmates, we all wonder and cry. The best of sex and violence. And when a girl is raped on a lonely L platform and her body hurled in front of a speeding train to be broken to pieces, we all wonder and we all cry. The best of sex and violence. When I take love like it was something I could take instead of something I must give. When I take love and I hold it like a knife against your neck. When I use love to hurt someone, in that way I hurt myself. When I take love and I hold it like a knife against your neck until the thin red line appears, separating us, I wonder and I cry. The best of sex and violence. I can hardly wait for part 2. Actually, that was probably the first poem I ever got published. I'd come out with 4-Star Daydream, and I published it in 4-Star Daydream, but then they reprinted it in the Cicero Life newspaper. And all the priests and all the nuns that my mother knew read the thing, and all the police read the thing, so... But risque poems are okay. Risky poems are okay. Anyways, I'm going to do worms. If you think you can't decide to have it baked or have it fried, I guess it's because you never tried to eat something with worms inside. You know, you can't tell by sight because usually it looks all right, but you wouldn't take a second bite to give your mouth an awful fright. For if you bite into a worm deep into its ectoderm, you'll find that it's not really firm. Then it will begin to squirm and yuck. So make a choice and don't be late about what you want on your plates. If you take too long to debate, you may find you are eating bait. Love is such a strange thing in this world of ours. To have that connection, to even desire that connection with another is something unnatural. I want to be a Siamese twin, connected at the hip or sharing some vital organ with another, perhaps a heart. Now that would be a different experience. I want to be a Siamese twin, give myself a reason to be dependable, give someone a reason to be civil, sleep next to me and wake in the morning at my side. I want to be a Siamese twin. I don't care who stares anymore. A monster, malformed, deformed, and unnaturally happy. Thanks.
That's what I get for going and organizing stuff. Hello, and thank you very much. I let you guys know, and I will let you know when the other books are released, but the poetry version of After the Apocalypse, the collection book from Scars Publication, was released. It was also released as a 2013 date book, which is why I love this date book, because I can just use it and be like, I've got to schedule these things and figure out what pieces I haven't read before. So I was going to read 3 pieces from 3 different people from this collection, because I really like being able to showcase other people's stuff in this. So this first poem is a poem by Brandy Capozzi, and it is called Steady. Silver threaded, bare, on the oak you drift off to hummings, fall asleep when the world is wrong. Something sits gently, a moth, wide-winged and shining, silver blue, an orb on each side for seeing through, balanced over top the chasm, solid against the squelch. Not a stutter, not one pulse flick of fear. There was only this humming, imperceptible words dissolving into ions. And you dream when the world is wrong, because you are still capable of dreaming. It will still be there come morning. Thank you, Brandy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Brandy. You may have heard some of these people. This is a poem by Sarah Lucille Marchant. This is called Quality Time. A couple of strangers sit together watching television. He leans closer to her, nuzzling her cheek with his nose in an effort to remind her that he's near. And she stares at the screen with a blank expression, mercilessly surfing through the channels. Sarah, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Sarah. And the kind of humorous one at the end of this is by Michael Sorello. Sorello, I always screw it up as I say it. But Michael, this is your poem. This is Genesis 27, 21st century edition. Jacob came to his aged father, this time not in his brother's clothes, but in a business suit, and had him sign a new will, leaving Jacob everything.
Exactly. Thank you, Michael. I know, we're gonna get that. And because she was so awesome to come all this way and check on the weather, Heidi, my love, give it up for my wonderful Heidi. Come on up here, darling. Woo! Like that. If I clap at the ends, it works.
Well, since you read your poem about sitting in the bathroom, and Dave read his poem about worms, I chose some of my bolder poems.
Yay!
All right. This one was sort of difficult to write, and this one's a couple months old, probably 4 or 5 months old. It's called Shindig in the Barnyard. There's movement in the grass, shimmering highlights in the yard by the town's closest worn boarded formation. There's bales of alfalfa hay on show. The snake is back in the sun. The bucks are picking up their Friday step. There's music in the barn. There's rocking by the house. Artists, musicians, and poets show off floral prints like tropical gardens. Live gothic punks and black jive about alienation, still pretending not to care, still pretending that it's their nation to stir up with the latest fashion, hair presented stuck up like it's a special. Others have already been there. Another knock on the mansion's door. He is in bearing a grin from out of town. The roosters mock a cockfight by the picnic table. Sister Slick is not impressed. Nick Speed is slapping the bongos. Silly, see that newly tanned Congo? Mojo's banjo picks groovy moves to barnyard groupies. Heads turn like horse foals kicking a spring. Pieces on the grill pop and spit like farmers chewing gritting chew. Cows chew their cud in the early morn. Dang, that girl is always horny. The Texas Longhorse sure likes its corn. There's a party in the yard. The week's been working hard to break the spirit of those trying to tame it and name it. My, that turkey is fried. Look at that drummer's eyes. He had a gig last night. Tales gossiped by the reddened trails in his eyes. The feedback of Jones's electric screams like a pig being castrated in spring. Do you like Rocky Mountain oysters? Those new wheels shine the driveway's gravel. Did you buy a ringer, that thing? The night's energy strings hearts and minds to an upbeat raging climax, a feat that will charge up enough jubilation to spur this generation and perhaps Hippie Paws and Beatnik Paws' next innovation in jabber time. All right, this one's really new. This one I just wrote like a couple days ago, so you got to rough through this one. This is about, I went to a poetry reading, and the poet was an optometrist, and he read a half-an-hour poem about optometry. So I decided to write a poem about his poem.
It's half hour long.
And it's called an optometrist's verse, and I had to look up some words in optometry. So if I mispronounce anything, please forgive me. And this is just a couple days old, so it's a little bit. Okay, it's called an optometrist's verse. The physician was well known and respected in his circle and its intersections. He read his 28-minute poem about the parts of the eye and dissections, describing vividly the zonules, comia, sclera, and humor. He articulated with enthusiasm, slicing through terminology of pedagogy with precision. Glaucoma and keratoconus were clearly sharply explained, candidly through a lens of feeling by a visionary with a vision. The audience went wild, eyeing him at the podium. They winced and flinched when he described the proper handling of eyeballs outside of their sockets. They loved him for his complexity, ability, and novelty in words. He didn't write about love and death as they knew it, only as he did, and Mrs. Davis when gazing through her glassy crystal balls. Now this poem's a little bit gross, but since we had the bathroom poem and the worm poem, it's maybe the only time I ever read it. It's only a couple months old, but it was inspired by the flu virus that's going around.
And I should say to everybody, if you didn't hear it before, which is why I'm going to yell it out now, we do record the open mics and we do make a podcast. Are you cool with that? Just wanted to say, in case anybody doesn't know.
Ready to go viral.
Ready to go viral, all right. So, somebody at work started talking about this flu virus they had, and so it inspired a poem. It's called Lunch Special Revisited. It entered as a rumble, then a tummy tumble. A cramp under the ribs churned into a crunch punch. As all of lunch projected out, a push with each contraction. Violently, turbulently, it threw through the tunnel, an erupting volcano. Super flew the stew. Birthing up Chucky, it sent him wet, airborne, and slimy through the airways, throwing rancid smelling parts into the tidy bowl. So that was about the flu that the work person had.
Yeah, I need more gross stuff. Doesn't matter how the gross stuff comes about, but that was awesome. I love it. And I love the fact that when I do this open mic, I mean, we have some regulars. Yeah, I know. And they're awesome to be around. It's great to see them. It's like
we're just buddies walking down Michigan Avenue together. It's always awesome to see that. It's really cool. But I'm also am really thrilled and endeared when people just start showing up and they're like, how many times have you been around, my love? It's just awesome to see new people, and it's awesome to see the next open micer. So please give it up for Eric. Eric, darling, get on up here. Hey, what the hell? Louder for Eric. Come on, guys.
Real estate agent. Once upon a time, she was a girl. Once upon a time, she got teacher. She was a schoolgirl. Then was the college time, love, and her first sex, which she cannot forget. And her art, and her life given to her by God. And the fire in her hair, a lot of dreams. It was her base. Now she is a real estate agent. Properties, public and other domains. So she's the one. Buy and sell. Buy and sell. Buy and sell. Make a buck. Make a buck. Take a piece even from the bottom or out of hell. Buy and sell. Buy and sell. Make a buck. Make a buck. Screw you. Never me. Or go to hell. Is that her life unfortunate stack of realities? Or someone else living track? No wars. Once you have been born, so precious moment, God's bride. The riches of the world has been given to you, fruit of love, your own life. Then you struggle for proper education costs, and also some crazy friends of your own kind. And you, searching for love, which you have been victorious, if you have found. But if you have lost, the meaning of pain was only your reward. Now you have grown, so you became perfect material for some assassin dreams to possess the world. The meat of their cannons is going to be the part of your own. They are flying high over the top of the world, the breed of some assassins, one of the kind, on the helicopter, state of the art, with disregard to all aspects and values of human life. They are going to tell you how it's good, how proud, to kill, or to die. So, dear fellow, friend of mine, do not wait, just stand by. The peace was your father, your mother's name was love. By now you are supposed to know what you should do. To protest, to expand, to respect and fulfill dreams of your own kind. To preserve the most important human nature rights. To live in peace and love. I'm not summer, but let's get back to summer for a moment.
Absolutely. Hey, it was 50-something. I went for a walk yesterday in a tank top and shorts. So let's get back to summer.
Let's get back to summer.
Exactly.
The summer. The summer is about to begin. Sun is blast, its rays reflected in your eyes. The rays of wild horses, the waves of the sea, speeding to the shore, seeking the line, no way to be reached. The sun bath painting your skin, hot sand burning your feet, the walk on the long beach, singing seagull over your head, and messengers to your dreams. The breeze painting your face, wind caressing your hair, the time of late night dance, the time of love. The summer is about to begin. Let's put some music into it. La Passionata. Being surrounded by cold, lonely days, merciless winter nights, searching for you, trying to escape from the daily odds, to hermit myself into the arm of yours, to the Latin music blast. La Passionadas dance, the heat of long fingers of fire sinking to the heart, melting the snow, unveiling the blossom of grass. Hip-hop music makes you smile. Million stars on the sky go hiding, avoiding your dark eyes. All of that in the rhythm of Latin music, salsa, merengue, hip-hop, the La Passionadas dance, trying to get closer to you, once almost one, mostly not. No, La Passionata, adore you. I'm obsessed by your nature. La Passionadas dance. Thank you very much. I can, if you should.
If you have one short one, because you usually say 3 or 5 minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry. No.
No, I thought you were, do you have a short one that you wanted to add? But-
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Okay.
Let's go with the first one. Your song. Since the time of your birth, unconsciousness was your feature. We were searching for no, however, the peace was of nature. Crossing the continent entirety from the east to west, from the south to north, to find you what have never been gone. Just peace, just a piece of serenity. So many loves wanted or not pass by. Confusion and despair, your broken heart added to despair. From dawn to the twilight, through the work of other creativity to reach tranquility. The desire of love, your need to be loved. The feet to the soul, just knocking on your door. Do not hesitate, no more waste your time, wide open the door. Let me in, to accommodate your body, to lodge, to heal your soul. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
That was awesome. Yeah, I usually try to keep it like, if we don't know or whatever, 3 or 5 minutes, and he was on 4, and he said, what, should I stop? And I'm like, well, sure, go ahead, because we love you. And I'm going to say really, really briefly, because I was talking about the collection book stuff I do. Yes, out this week will be prose collection book, as well as poetry one from after the apocalypse, because, you know, that whole Mayan thing, blah, blah, blah. And it looked cool with the ruins. It did look cool. So God, that was what the collection book thing was. And I was going to do a collection book of my own stuff from past year, and it seemed really appropriate if I'm going to be doing performance. I was starting to call it post-apocalyptic. And I happen to have a shot from like the 10-3 show with the Haman of South Africa where I'm holding a globe. So it seems appropriate to talk about the end of the world, but there's a lot of stuff there. So, and that'll be out in a week or something, just in time for Valentine's Day, if anybody wants to get those collection books from 2012 from Scars Publications. And I just thought people were like, I'm going to go, I'm so excited to go, I'm all excited. Well, that's what I get for telling you.
Janet, you're mad.
I know I am. I am.
Bad woman! Bad woman!
Well, this place is all madness, so why the hell not? So, I haven't heard this woman much, but I don't know how hot this woman is going to be. But please, ladies and gentlemen, give a screaming round of applause for Bumper. Get on up here!
Hello, thank you.
Hi.
Whoops.
Janet, help her. Help her.
I don't know, put it back up. Yeah, that works.
I don't really need help.
Oh,
I mean, I do, but it's okay. All right. I'm gonna just do 5 poems for you. They're real short, shouldn't be 5 minutes. The first 2 I wrote initially in Italian, so here it goes. Ho acceso le candele del staccato, e bruciato il fuoco dell'adore, finché rimangano solo le ceneri di desiderio, mentre mi sdraio senza fiato sul letto. And that means I have lit the candles of sin and burned the fire of passion until all that remains are ashes of desire, while I lay panting on the bed. condizione terminale e anche se non mi sento male, sto vivendo e morendo nello stesso respiro. And that means I have a terminal condition. And though I don't feel bad, I'm living and dying in the same breath.
Beautiful. That was beautiful.
Okay, 3 more. Here's one.
And you should go right from the Italian to the English, if you can.
Oh,
Yeah, we might as well, because we don't, why apply, I mean, like, we just
Well, I
go,
think she
just,
said the first two were Italian.
and you say it, if they're translations, just go, I mean, don't wait for applause counts, we'll get it. That's all I was saying.
That was good.
Whatever.
Go from
I guess I don't know the protocol or whatever. Okay, thank you. Learn to write, and all your chiseled achievements will outnumber rumors of inexpression and tower over any feeling you might have thought you had. An illusion, disappearing into the mist that is your eyes. I'm just a kid in cutout clothes, a stranger hiding deep within the hollows of my soul. The traffic of the city reminds me of a distant place where I can always be alone. The clouds have wept September. Wind makes sway the laughing wheat, glinting as it glides through broken patches of the moon. Soon day will come to plow away the night, and beauty born of darkness. Thank you.
I'm going to hand this one my card. You're getting my card because you're getting my email addresses because I have.
happen to also run 2 literary magazines monthly, CC&D and Down in the Dirt magazine from Scarce Publications. I don't happen to have the issues with me because it'll be out in the next 2 weeks, which I will tell everybody about for the Alex Agata feature. But if I happen to hear poetry that I like, I'm like, hey, you! Send it to me if you are willing. And it could be published in a perfect-bound 84-page monthly magazine. And that second poem that you read, the translation and the English version, it was beautiful. I loved it. Please send it to me. Also, your second to last one, when you were talking about going to the city, to a place where you can feel alone. 2 of them. I want those. I don't have their names, but please email them to me. You can always email them to me at ccnd96@scars.tv. You see my name on that card. If you ever have a problem with an email, send it to a scars.tv address. Just know how to spell my name, janetkuypers@gmail.com. Also works if you couldn't get through from those. That was awesome. And because I can't remember, no, I can remember because he's so double plus awesome. I am hoping that the Bobster, who is going to actually be a feature at the Chicago Cultural Center in March of 2013, March 27th. He's going to come up and read some awesome stuff. So please hear up for Bob Rascott.
Thanks. I'm feeling pretty nostalgic tonight. How is that different from any other time? Street play. The square is alive with people on this warm afternoon. Among the appreciative crowds, jugglers jump their skills. Little children clap delightedly. Their parents smile at their happy response. Over that way, a mime troupe performs, making priceless faces, romp, pose, squirm, squat, stretch, all for the square's multitudes, all for the love of their craft, all for the duration of another summertime Saturday. Beer and sandwiches are consumed. Talk flows, babies yell, balloons ascend and pop. A tall young student stops to help an old woman with a walker sit down. Personal kindness, on some level, still exists. Most prefer not to be seen as wrong or bad. The midday mob cherishes their time of leisure, wanting to be entertained, but claiming no particular taste for being the ones doing the entertaining. Thank you. This is called Mike's World. Deep in the heart of this peaceful, aging Detroit suburb where Sherwood segues into Karen Street years ago, young Greenbaum grew graceful. Driving slow past the tri-level houses, basketball hoops, lawnmowers, tree swings, I can almost see Mike pedaling speedily along, his baseball mitt tucked firmly into his shirt pocket. That's the Mike I knew. The Mike I don't know is married and living in Southfield, raising succeeding offspring in a kosher home. That Mike, now a stranger. But still, on that leafy block of caring, see the child Mike breathlessly romping.
Yeah.
All right. And finally, John Hartford, 1941 to 2001. Before I was able to tell you how much I love your music, you fell asleep now. Gently, you communicated to me all that was on your mind, a sailor's daydream, a happy day in the park. Before you fell asleep now. Isn't it funny? Isn't it sad? Go fall asleep now, one of my favorites of your tunes, and today your life reached its end. John, I can't believe you're gone. I know you gotta be up there somewhere, writing more tunes like Category Stomp, and asking all the cute girls with your tongue in your cheek, hey babe, you wanna boogie? Maybe when I find you, when I can touch your gentle soul, I'll tell you how I love you, how I love your time, how I love your exquisite imagery, when it comes my turn to say, I'll fall asleep now. Thanks.
See, that's what we get from the Bobster, who, other than being my wonderful, adorable sidekick whom I adore beyond belief, he's also going to be one of the features at that Chicago Cultural Center thing that I was talking about. And I said it with Cernex, I don't know where that came from, on March 27th. And I am torn because I'm like, well, I don't know if we're going to have our feature this evening for Jeff Television. Give it up, please, once in advance. Why the hell not? Give it up for a phenomenal feature tonight. Because Patrick Curley might come along too for the feature, which is great. I'm so loving it. So I have no idea what's set for that, but what am I needing this for? Oh, I guess it's to look at how much she is featured. I said how I happen to have two of the hosts for this thing for the Chicago Cultural Center. The lady that is going to be up reading that also happens to be hosting two of those days. I believe it's on the 6th of the month, and she will tell you all about her features and stuff. So please, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the ultra wonderful Miss Janine Ramasloot. Thank you. I love you said when you were there, you're like, it's a Dutch name. I'm like, Kuypers, Dutch name, it's Dutch girls, woohoo!
I'm very excited, and so is Janet. We were at the Cultural Center today, and they're going to, every Wednesday from now on, we hope forever, have features and rotating hostesses and hosts and whatever you want to call them. And David Gatchek and Susan Moss will be featured on February 6th. I will be hosting. I'm extremely excited. I think this is going to be a very, very cool little venue. So, that being said, I am going, and then you're going to be featuring, Janet, you're going to be featuring us in February 27th.
February 27th, Janine Ramsden and Tom
Yeah, so
Robbie.
that'll be really cool.
Yay!
So I am going to start with a poem titled Light on a Linden Branch. Light on a linden branch reminds you of snow, the kind that fell that other year when you were on all fours because you were about to paint a winter landscape for your mother. You remember the damp scent of white tempera, how it held onto the brush, how it slid across the cheap beige paper you were working on. Remember the sharp, bright peeps of the yellow finch before it dropped from its perch, died like sunlight at the bottom of the metal bird cage. Thank you. Carnival inventory. The flap of canvas cloth in the wind, slick sideshow carnies, the click, click of carnival guns, those little fake ducks that rolled by, fell back into darkness, disappeared. The Kewpie dolls, teddy bears I coveted, never won, that went to sailor boys in dress whites, their girlfriends done up in poodle skirts, bright blue eyeshadow, black mascara, went to middle-aged men with fat cigars clenched between their teeth when they pulled the trigger. Several years ago, I was in Spain and I fell in love with the place, and when I brought out my book, I had an opportunity to write about it. And so the first part of the book is about Spain and my visiting. And this, I'm going to start with espetos de sardinas, or speared sardines. We walk through the Paseo del Parque de Malaga, date palms, plane trees, tropical shrubs, fountains, sculptures walk past old women who dust down whitewashed walls with small white rags. Not far, you say. I see it. The Paseo Marítimo La Malaguita beach, blonde sand imported from the Sahara Desert. Beach bars, old sand-filled boats turned into barbecues. Sardines cook on skewers. Sardines a la sal, whole sardines. We eat heads, eyes, tails, rub our hands on our bodies when we're finished. The stench of sardines lingers on our fingers, arms, legs. The not unpleasant aftertaste of oil and salt on our tongues. How to describe it? Describe you. Your propped up right arm, exposed white breast resting on a beach blanket. The sun spinning like a net of caught fish just above the Mediterranean. While I was there, I was with a family, and the father had Alzheimer's, and the mother had MS, and it was quite an interesting vacation. And this is titled, and he had a very difficult time remembering names and so forth. So this is titled, Because He Couldn't Remember. The Marriott's Marbella Beach Resort, white marble floors, whitewashed walls, lush geranium gardens, we can see from the balcony. 2 blue pools that shine like cat eyes in the sun. The sound of hola, hola as we exit the elevator, head for the car. The Autopista del Sol. Your father asking, who are you? Over and over, while lemon trees, blood-red soil, appear, disappear in the convex rear-view mirror. Thank you. Like a bongo, that was awesome. I don't know what that was. Just banging on a chair or something. Glasses on tables. That was absolutely phenomenal. And Ginny mentioned, yeah, she's running it for a couple of weeks.
And she actually happens to be featuring, well, she's just featuring like mad, because she is going to be featuring in the middle of,
In March too?
in March,
At the end of March something.
the 13th.
Yeah.
March 13th, she's featuring
And
here.
then he's featured.
I know, this is what I'm all getting into, my lady. And Tom Roby also happens to be featuring here on March 27th. And he's actually going to be featuring in this other event that I have to be running on February 27th at the Chicago Cultural Center. So please, I'm just talking too much, please. And also, I want to make sure our feature has enough time. So that 5-minute thing or 3-poem or whatever is appropriate, because I just want to give Jeff Ferguson so much room because he's so double plus awesome. Please, ladies and gentlemen, everybody here is awesome. But give it over Mr. Tom Roby.
I didn't mean to sound game shows yet. I'm Ruby.
Thank you, Janet. I won't make any more denouncements. I have been favorably denounced throughout the program, and instead I will go back to the penultimate poet, her penultimate poem, which is just 3 poets back, the second to last poem, because it was an I am poem, and I like those, and I really like that one. This one is called Silhouetted. I'm just a pasteboard person standing on this backlit platform outlined with the others by a quickly setting sun, looking out along the tracks out to the vanishing point. Nothing shows up but wallpaper faces on a window pane facade, trapped flat on 2 dimensions. We board, I edge in, read a little news, think about my day. Flat mats near the door remind me I am here on my 2 dimensions. Flat in front, flat in back, tracks drawn out longer than my life. Only a profile on picture plane days at that point of no return where my tracks will disappear at the last stop. And when I'm not a silhouette, I am practicing the art of poetry, ars poetical, in 2 parts. Love is the greatest impetus to poetry, and the loveliest of loves is romance. Romance bestows all the odd obsessions for lyrical inspiration. My love stands taller than 10,000 stanzas. It offers delayed gratification. Tomorrow, after I have published my ode to your earlobe, let us embrace under a moonlit garden moon. Your ideal beloved will keep you perking as she acts out your rival's love letters, seduces you in dank alleyways, and pays the publisher to engrave your trysting odes and triolets. All you need do is tell the world how you really feel. 2. Hate is the greatest impulse to poetry, and the most odious of hates is revenge. Revenge ignites all the odd obsessions for versification vitriolique. My every phrase shall be a flaming crochet hook that stabs through your ear hole, yanks out your rhymeless frame. It offers instant gratification. To whom it may concern, she sleeps with her mother, scrawls chorales for Black Sabbath. Slander will fuel your rage more safely than a Molotov cocktail. So when you find the filthy wretch in her homeless rags still peddling doggerel on State Street, you can shove her into the gutter and call out the cops to revoke her poetic license. All you need do is never sign your name. Okay, two more quick ones here. Here's one that Janet's going to publish, one of these years. Thank you, Janet. Pantomime prescription variation. Stop worrying. You have all the clues. Keep on asking until the mist clears. One good answer. Everyone dies. Date uncertain. Time, place unknown. Keep on asking until the mist clears. But I really must go. So many waiting, death's date uncertain, time, place unknown. The answer isn't the answer to your question. I really must go. So many waiting, rest time is over, and I'm going slow, so slow. The answer isn't the answer to your question. Go back to sleep. Next best thing to death. Rest time is over. I'm going so slow, so slow. One good answer. Everyone dies. Go back to sleep. The best thing to death. Stop worrying. You have all the clues. Good preparation there for Jeff. And then we have something on the brighter side. No, it's not on the brighter side. This is a mourning song, M-O-U-R-N-I-N-G. I mourn the dawn of day before the sun gets up, when the last city lights grow faint in night's hall, where your shadow still clings to the limbs of the elms, but soon will be lost in the morning's orange chime. Since your dream smile's all gone, I mourn the dawn.
Thank you. And if I find a piece, I'm trying to remember, do I have that title? Did I say I was accepting it? I don't remember which issue. I'm trying to remember. One day it might. But what, did I see the ball? I'm not sure. I know there was a Rush one. I can't remember off the top of my head. All right.
It's in our next year file. Next year.
You have to start sending me more stuff, man. My little brain. Hi, Robin. And I've got, as far as I know, I've got two people and I've got to be quick so that I make sure that our awesome feature has his time. But please, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the man that ran so much in the open mic world before. Give it up for Mr. Patrick Gurley! Thank you. That's a howl like an idiot.
For Amelie. Her eyes, so big and bright, open to the world, gaze up to receive comfort. Her hands, so small, little fingers and toes held gently in big hands, kissed so softly, giggles are the reward. Smelly, dirty diapers are nothing but a privilege to clean soft skin. An opportunity to sing ABCs, 1, 2, 3s, in calm, low tones. She came into this world in my hands, hearing my voice, feeling my touch. Crying at night, I gave the comfort of a father's loving arms. They are here now, my darling, open to your aging, never turning away. I will carry you again through tomorrow. There can be a picture there can be a feeling transcendent within that picture. There can be a box there before you, where you've placed with care the things you hold dear, the things you held, things that gathered dust, that gathered memories, gathered experience. There, in a box, on the floor,
in the middle of the room, where your heart was broken, where patience was set aside, where you drew an alliance with anger, where a low tide of love gave way to the growing shore of discontent, where boundaries were tested and limits were crossed. There, now, sits a box, cardboard, holes for handles, sealed for transport, ready to move into tomorrow. There can be a voice heard behind your ears, very quiet, whispering. It is there now, calling you home, questioning your fears. You choose not to listen, choosing instead the influence of noise. There can be a time when all questions receive answers, all paths made clear. Listen, it is here now. Relax and seek the distant whisper. Question always. Fear not the answers. Become yourself through truth. So my marriage officially ended today. That was number 2.
Congratulations.
So this is from an earlier time. Picture perfect pain, heartbreak, glass splinter, and tear-filled eye of pain. Experience is the excuse. To only make us more experienced is the excuse. To make us numb, to make us desensitized, to give us a 10,000 cc injection of Novocaine to the heart, to the head, to the last remnant of hope that remains. Picture perfect pain, drops and words from your lips. The breath of syllables forms piercing thorns into the soul, darkening the little light that shines within, darkening the sunny late summer, covered bridge picnic afternoon by the river with the bees and the water running low because of the lack of rain, darkening no more, extinguishing the candle, brightly burned on private, slow-cooked eaten while wearing only our favorite underwear reserved for such an occasion, evening dinners. Picture perfect pain, framed in 8.5 by 11-inch sheets of standard white copy paper with words printed in Courier true type and bold paragraph headings that say no union exists, that really say no hope exists, that go further to say the blank empty stares on expressionless faces you see every day in passing on the sidewalk and sitting on the train and riding on the bus and passing on the highway, byway, stop sign, traffic light, intersection of life are now valid and justified by law and the collective will of the people, by the people, and for the people, that go even further still to say that this picture-perfect pain is found in the non-existence of compassion for one another, that is to say, in the non-existence of love.
Thank you, that's awesome. All right, now I am looking at the time, and I was really wanting to give our feature a half hour, because I wanted him to have his time, because I think everybody wants to hear Mr. Jeff Helgeson. Aw, yeah. And I just found out, I tried to sneak him in as the third feature on both of the nights that I happen to be running at the Chicago Cultural Center on February 27th and March 27th. So we got shorter features from everybody, but I am so thrilled that he's going to be there. Could be a double plus awesome thing. So I wanted to ask, I'm asking my feature, is it all right? I've got 2 people left. Would you like to go straight to the feature after this, or should we take a break?
Straight to the feature.
Straight to the feature.
If you're cool with that, alrighty. Well, we're going to try to keep it short because I really want to hear everybody. You guys are awesome. I have to overact everything because that's what I do. Please give it up for Mr. John Hargraves.
Try to keep this.
Oh, Greg.
He's tall.
He certainly is.
Yes. Sorry.
Try to keep this quick. However, I wrote this a while ago. The title of this is A Medicine Buddha is Rolling This Boulder Uphill. 1. At the beginning. This poem starts in Michigan State University back when I hung out with the liberal and arts crowds. And there was 3 things we all knew. 1. You were in a hell of reduced expectations. 2. Many around you lived in paradise. And 3. You had better look elsewhere for your heaven. Never Michigan, a state was built in response to their snobbishness, but Cal, Berkeley, University of Texas, and Naropa were the schools always mentioned in their hushed tones, merited only by gods powerful enough to wish their names to be held in silence. No one I knew went to Cal, Berkeley despite stories of free tuition, and those who went to the University of Texas tended to disappear there. But I remember one person who went to Naropa and returned. He seemed to be the same person as before, but there was something about him that raised him above the scene. Certainly above yours truly. 2. A quick burn through my yesterdays. I knew what to do when I heard about the blessed places mentioned. Noted them and let the comments sink into places deep within my brain as I meandered my way to my BS. I did get the degree, I made sure of that. After finishing, I found myself driving a cab, hanging out with the Krishnas, and writing bad poetry that actually improved with time, attention, and work. Had I stuck around, I could see myself trying out a couple of different things I would never have tried before in my younger days. 3. Same timeline as above, different person. There was this girl I knew in East Lansing during that time who seemed more the slumming kind than anything else. Like almost everyone else I knew from then, she faded from my mind until near the end of a book writing storm, I decided to look up her name, found out she'd become a chief financial officer of some corporation. Once that shock wore off, I saw the word Naropa on her resume and started with her starting year fitting in with the last time I saw her going through town. 4. So what was this about? Now, Cal Berkeley has proven more flawed than paradise, and the University of Texas is surrounded by barbarians waiting for their chance to wipe it from the face of the earth. As for Naropa, a friend who said no to traveling to Vermont has no problem with gazing at the California Front Range, so with the excuse of a longtime friend of hers moving to Boulder, it looks like I'm going to at least get a look at the Naropa campus. I expect massive cognitive dissonance to follow in its wake. See, one of the things I've grown expert in over the years is holding a dream long enough to know how to crush it. An art easy to learn and work on when your chances of getting help are about nil, and everyone around you can get enough support to slum down or avoid one's destiny for a decade or so. Problem with this is that sometimes these dreams reappear, years, even decades after having been dismissed as impossible, laying waste to the heart that declared said dream an impossibility. So, soon, some thoughts buried 20 plus years shall rise up, if only for a moment. I plan on acknowledging them before letting them fly off into the ether, assuming, of course, that they go in that direction. They may have other ideas.
Yeah. I feel like I have so many things to say, especially because I don't have to take a break between the features. But first things first, which is something that I'm holding this precious bag, which I should have done before. This handy dandy bag, I don't drink Crown Royal, but the guy that used to run this open mic did. Sure he did, and it is a really handy bag. And this could put your life savings into, because I swear to God, our feature, John Helgeson, so deserves it. Please, I have to give it. It's so awesome, yes. So I'm going to pass this over. I'm going to pass it over toward him because he's closest. And then I have to talk about something which I forgot to mention before, and that is that this open mic is running like the saloon poetry thing. They're going to put a collection book together of stuff. And I said, you know, I'm running this open mic. I publish stuff. I should be able to put an annual collection book together. Sure. So, and yeah, some people, she's like, sure, yep, yeah. And I'm thinking that every person who has a feature can choose one piece from their feature to go into the collection book. And because it's the beginning of the year, and I didn't ask this before because I'm a freaking idiot, if there was any poem for the open mics that anybody thinks is so worthwhile that we should double plus vote it in, a chosen poem from any open mic can also make it in. I know this is insanely late, but I'm bringing this up because I'm an idiot and I didn't think of bringing it up before. So if there is anything that anybody has in mind
mine for tonight. I already have two because I was thinking of it for my own magazine, but my choice alone should not be the thing that makes this happen, honestly. So if anybody has any thoughts, and after our last open micer, which is next, if I'm going to ask anybody, does anybody have any poems that they liked, and do a screaming thing? And I am going to do that every time we're together this year to see if people want to get stuck together, because people, hey, I had a feature, but I really liked that poem from Patrick Curley, who was the feature on the 16th of January or something, and that can go in as well. So keep that in mind. And now we've got our phenomenal final open micer. I have to sing it, sorry. Please give it up for this Beast Woman, because I thought I was a Beast Woman, but I actually aren't doing a show for it. So please give it up for Miss Robin Fine. Robin, give it up for my love. She's like, I'm talking people. Which means that a Robin Fine piece, if everybody's like, I'm all in love with it, this is going to be in, or something. Or if there was something else from the night, or whatever.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hi, Robin. The past couple weeks, I've been under the weather, and I've just been writing. So I thought it'd be kind of neat to, this is brand new. It's just a rough draft. I don't know where either of these poems are going to take me, but what the hell. This is called Winter White. She's the color of winter, eggshell, fragile, and empty canvas waiting for the artist to begin. Will brushstrokes paint spun sugar into temperament? Will bones splinter and bleed anger into creases? Will hue and texture rust sorrow into lack of faith? How can spirit of mud and dried paint chips ever know a masterpiece? Will she ever recognize if the artist has begun or if he's ever finished? So these are, I don't know where they're going to take me. They're not done, but what the hell. I don't really have a name for this, but I just wrote this today. We are separate selves now, left alone to count the bathroom tiles. It's been a long time coming. Pretend I came here with intention. A paranormal romance, spirit drained under the weight of vintage wings. But pretend I didn't believe. Echo of matchsticks striking hollow veins causes flame and ash. The burnt offerings will remind me of your cologne. Nice. Janine wanted me to mention something that goes on once a month on Saturdays. It's called the Butterfly Project. And basically there's a really fine poet by the name of, she goes by La Pixie or Sandra Santiago, and she's bringing together poetry for women by women. And it's supposed to be a very, very safe space. People come there. I was a feature this month, and it was packed. And women came and they sang and they did poetry, and it was amazing. So I would suggest people want to come out. I believe it's the third Saturday of the month in the afternoon. It's in Pilsen. Just get in touch with me. I can give you the information. It's pretty cool. So. Thank you for the info.
I feel bad that I wasn't able to make it to the last one. It's like, well, we've got this thing and it's going to be a half hour for open mics and you're good. And I'm driving from near Wisconsin and I'm like, that's like $40 in gas just to read a poem. I'm like, I don't know if I can pull it off. I got something going on later, but really? So I couldn't pull it off of that one. But that's also a great thing. And women's issues things are awesome. And I brought this sheet along because I wanted to let people know if they were published in a magazine of mine, CC&D or Down in the Dirt magazine through Scars Publications. I'm just letting people know. If you are published, you get your writing not only in a print issue and it appears on a web page as well with your writing, but we have something called the writing, I call it the writing section. If you look, there's a frame that says click writings, and it would have a framed page that would list author names. And you click on the other names, hey, it sees all of their writing. It's, hey, I've been published in 4 issues. And you just click on a piece of writing, and your writing will show up in the next frame. And it would also say, oh, by the way, you're in this issue. So if you wanted to know, there's all these different ways. And we also do collection books, as you've seen by trying to show off, hey, the After the Apocalypse collection book or whatever. We do all that kind of stuff. So if you want to know anything more, I'm going to get winded talking about all this stuff. And I feel bad that I don't have on my jacket because I would look all perfectly proper. And there are more people giving money for a phenomenal feature because I'm double plus pleased that I've got like this third feature that will come up at the Chicago Cultural Center. I know it's not here, but it's just, it makes me all gooey inside.
Swell?
I know, it totally is, because it's a place for all people without jobs to get together in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
So, or post jobs, or, you know, yeah, I've got a night job, I can come here during the day. So, I'm really, really she's like, I've got to hand it to you now while you're entering. Da-da-da-da. Oh, that's lazy, woohoo. Thank you very much. I am thrilled and honored, as always, to have this man as a feature. This play where there are probably too many things that I could say, and they probably wouldn't do him justice. So, I'm going to let his words, his voice, seep into your soul and make all of the difference in the world. Please, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for a phenomenal feature this evening. Give it up for Mr. Jeffrey Augustin. Come on!
Don't make me feel like I have a lot to live up to. But I'll do my best. Hang on, I have my little prep.
You want it behind you or here? Oh, you got
I'm
it.
going to put it here.
Okay.
All right. Got my best move. Got it. Well, good evening, and thank you very much for the chance to be here, and for that very kind introduction. What I thought about doing tonight is actually a little something different than I often do. Many of you have seen me read from my 3 Pudd'nhead Press publications. Sign of the Times, a verse play dealing with postmodernism and its various implications. A prose piece titled Threshold. Oh, I should mention, Sign of the Times recently included in the American Avant-Garde Theater Festival in New York. Thresholds, reviewed in book magazines as representing a monumental day. And Fall from Grace, a piece that was originated not far from a spot more or less here on the mural behind me at the Victory Gardens studio, with the role created for a drama by retired president of Lake Forest College, William Graham Cole, and the author of a book titled The Restless Quest of Modern Man, Typecasting. He was a wonderful fit. And he said that I'd grown into the part. Except I realized that the people assembled have seen and heard me or read from those 3 works before. And also, when Janet was kind enough to post the YouTube video, there was my planned reading for tonight. So, what I decided to do instead, as a concession to Dave Getchick, was read the commercial announcement that he provided me, which is, Thresholds, Fall from Grace, and Sign of the Times can be ordered using a credit card by calling 888-BOOKS-98 or by visiting www.pudd'nheadpress.com or by going to Amazon.com or contacting your local bookstore or sending the cover price, $10 and $8, to the Pudd'nhead Press, P.O. Box 477889, Chicago, Illinois 690647. Operators are standing by and awaiting your call. Well, now with that commercial message behind me, what I thought I would do instead of those particular works was sample the styles of each of them. A verse play, a prose piece, and then a dramatic piece, more or less, in the form of an extended monologue. And so, literally, hot off the presses, Urbis in Hortum, City in a Garden. Everybody who writes in Chicago does his rhapsody or her rhapsody to the city. So, with that as my inspiration, this is mine. The future in this place, land of slow-moving water, is born of perpetual potential, baptizing itself time and again in blood and fire. The 8-hour day received its first martyrs here, blown from Haymarket to history. But what I remember most about the Nelson Algren, Saul Bellows section of the city where I grew up is the sound that seemed to permeate the streets like a changing symphony throughout the various movements of each day. Rags and old iron, homegrown tomatoes, holy cow, hey, hey. And we made no small plans against that tapestry of sound while the city transformed itself around us without ever missing a beat, just as it had time and again. Prison camp for Confederate soldiers, the inspiration of Oz, tall blonde sucker, city on the make, sweet home, Chicago. In some way, I think that everybody's story here is pretty much the same. Origins elsewhere, hard work, and a belief in hope for the future, tempered by sentimental attachment to the past. Summer nights along the lake where the water is cool and silky smooth in the darkness, walking through forest preserves in autumn, skating on lagoons, and those first spring mornings when the boulevard's elms begin to silently burst into bloom. Undisturbed, beautiful, in spite of all its shoot-to-kill politics and too frequent random gunfire. And so we faced the future, blood-tainted from Fort Dearborn to St. Valentine's Day and beyond. Burnt and rebuilt, demolished and urban renewed, river reversed and East Lake capsized, Iroquois and Our Lady of Angels blazed, blizzarded and flooded, heat spelled and blacked out, downsized and abandoned, reborn and re-gentrified, generation after generation. Bucktown, back of the yards, Brickyard, Bridgeport, Chinatown, Gold Coast, Loop, Hyde Park, Wicker Park, Rogers Park, Washington, Irving Park, Humboldt Park, Norwood Park, Lincoln Park, Old Town, New Town, South Side, West Side, North Shore, New East Side, toddling on and on, each new day slamming toward tomorrow. A town that no one has shut down. Thank you. You're too generous. It's your civic pride showing through. I know that.
Who cares? It's
Tall, bold slugger, not blonde, but he could be both, you know, sweet. Okay, so this piece is my sort of contemplative reflection of somebody who probably lives just beyond those trees, here somewhere in Lincoln Park.
I don't want to hear about it now.
Oh, all right. Well, then he's in Hyde Park.
Don't care about them either.
In Humboldt Park.
I'm going to leave for this one.
Okay. We'll see you later.
Yeah.
The windows across the room were dark, and Don Stryker could see himself in them, surrounded by the light of a chrome-plated lamp that hung above his head, his reflection abruptly ending where his image in the glass was blocked from view by a white stone gargoyle that his wife had bought and set at a carefully chosen angle among some leafy plants she had arranged along the freshly painted sill. He was sitting on the sofa, his left arm stretched out in front of a line of books arranged on the shelf behind it. The house was quiet around him. Joan and the children were asleep, and he had been trying to read. He glanced down for a moment at the open book that lay against his legs. The fingers of his left hand fanned out across its tightly printed pages. As for the inner negation for myself of the truth, he read, this rests on words, that is, on an event within the world. Don moved his eyes away from the page to gaze instead at the corner of a woven rattan trunk that served as a coffee table in front of the sofa. Jean-Paul Sartre was dead, he thought. No reason to read him now. No exit. He turned the page with the tips of his fingers and skimmed over the darkly underlined words. In bad faith, it is from myself that I am hiding the truth. After a moment, Don lifted his gaze once again and drew his arm away from the back of the sofa. He had always been intrigued by questions of conscience. He was a great compromiser, and he could easily rationalize virtually any action that he took. On Sundays, as a boy, Don had always agonized over the small paper envelopes in his pants pocket, touching them with his delicate, well-cleaned fingertips as he had walked, the sound of deep-ribbed corduroy accompanying each step that he took. And then, finally, once he had turned onto the tree-lined sidewalk with the church steeple rising from among the leaves at its far end and a candy store directly at its center, he would stop, look cautiously in both directions over his narrowly boyish shoulders, lift the stiff paper collection envelope from his pocket, and then tear it open, sometimes carefully and sometimes with a flourish. He would look at the brightly silver coins as they fell into his outstretched palm, and he would then press them deeply into his front pants pocket and tear the envelope, stooping to drop the scraps of paper through the grillwork of a sewer cover next to the curbing at the corner, and watching as they scattered onto his reflection in the stagnant water below. The money was intended to be given to the poor, his mother had told him. It was meant for people who had no money of their own. That's a noble duty, his father had added from behind the outfolded pages of the Sunday Tribune before Don had begun his 6-block walk to church. It's a duty that everyone owes to those who are less fortunate than themselves, his father had added, rustling the papers between his hands. Now, Don thought about that as he walked. The poor. Those unfortunate people who had no money of their own. He was poor. And in that case, now his hands had trembled when the thought had occurred to him, because in that case, the money was intended for him. Charity begins at home. He remembered his mother had often said that. Charity began at home. He was poor. The money was meant for the poor. It had come from his home. And he had a moral responsibility to share what little he had with others who were even less fortunate than himself. Once the problem had been solved, Don had smiled broadly and hurried on his way. Each week, he had spent all of his money on candy. Hershey bars and Three Musketeers and long strips of paper dotted over with yellow and pink rolls of hard pieces of candy. And then he had shared, passing out his wealth freely and in secret, while from somewhere in front of him, older voices had spoken about loaves and fishes, and from around him, hollow-throated coughs had softly covered the sound of tearing cellophane. Don closed the book and set it on the edge of the trunk. "The consciousness of being is the being of consciousness," he quoted and leaned back on the sofa. "The being of conscience is the consciousness of self," he thought, and then wondered what Sartre might have said. Still, Don had other things to concern himself with. He was restless and uneasy, teaching an introduction to contemporary thought course to 18-year-olds was hardly what he hoped to be doing at this point in his life. Looking around him, the books along the walls, the windows and the plants, and even that blasted stone-white gargoyle staring back at him, all reminded him of the decisions that he had made that had brought him to exactly where he sat. They were the links in the chain that he had forged for himself without ever knowing what it was that he had been doing. He was Sisyphus, and philosophy was his rock. "Don," Joan's voice sounded in a velvet-lined, sleepy tone from somewhere in the gloom that lay behind him, and he dropped his eyes from the window and reached up for his book. "I'm reading," he answered in a soft response. "I'll be coming in a little while." He flipped through several pages and stopped at random, only briefly glancing down at the words in front of him. "The champion of sincerity is not," he read, and his eyes skipped up and over several lines of text. "He understands not being in the sense of not being in itself. He is in bad faith." Don could hear water running in the bathroom and then the toilet flushed. "You should probably come to bed soon, honey," Joan said from out of the darkness as the sudden rush of water quickly subsided. "Tomorrow's Sunday, and you can finish what you're doing in the morning before we take the girls to church." Don shut the book and held it tightly in his hands, his reflection glaring through a glass darkly on the other side of the room, and suddenly he remembered the day that he had reasoned that no reason to say no was reason enough to say yes. That comfort and compatibility in a job, teaching in his area of interest were all that he wanted, all that he felt it would take to make and keep him happy. Now it had been a Sunday morning, and the streets had been empty, and he'd been going to see Joan, and together they had planned to speak to her parents. "I truly love your daughter," he decided that he would say. "I love her, and I want to be with her." And it was true, he told himself. True enough, anyway. Don stood and stepped away from the sofa, automatically adjusting his angle to avoid the low coffee table trunk. And then he reached up to switch off the light before starting through the darkness to the bed that he had made for himself. He stepped past the doorway and into the hall and began to slowly climb the softly carpeted stairs. The notion of bad faith, he decided that he would tell his freshmen on Monday, was nothing more than an elaborate rationalization. Sartre's duality of the deceiver and the deceived was immaterial, he would say. There was no such thing as a lie to oneself. There was no such thing as bad faith. Okay. The music here is composed by Clay Horvath, who set both Sign of the Times and Fall from Grace. And so, for my next little piece, Watching Your Time, I thought that I would use it as a background. This play, interestingly, everybody talks about the notion of, at a literary cocktail party, I had this idea. Well, I actually did. I was at an event and somebody asked me, well, what are you working on? And rather than say nothing, I started to manufacture an idea about current events, WMD, Weapons of Mass Destruction, and subsequently it was presented in the Wonderland Festival at the Row Theater Complex in New York, New York. So I'm very pleased to offer a little excerpt. The premise is a weapons instructor who is felt to be perhaps a little soft, has been set up for a surveillance team that look in on him with a female double agent who's been sent to do whatever it takes in order to get him to talk about things he feels with respect to international circumstance. And finally, she gets him to say this. The world is no longer challenged by concentrated threats that can be isolated and defined. Instead, it's confronted by a pervasive one, like a cancer that has begun to metastasize, that has the potential of being anywhere at any time. It's a funny thing. It's possible to find such things funny. But it's the same Enlightenment ideas of equality and enfranchisement that have both advanced the progress of the last 2 centuries and that now have set that progress in universal peril. It is freedom that has made the world unsafe for democracy. And it's the idea of liberty brought forward from the age of reason that has moved the world to the verge of virtual chaos. What I mean is that medievalism, xenophobic intolerance is on the rise. It is truth to be told that rational pragmatism, enlightened self-interest, secular humanism, and even cautious relativism are at risk of being prescribed to the ash can of history. It doesn't matter what started the mess, what particular set of isms caused the contagion to spread. All that really matters is that the mess needs to be cleaned up, to be contained at least, before the future is destroyed by the past. You see, this isn't something that just started a score of years ago. It has been there since before the time of Homer, since the origins of the world we know, since the mobilization of King Leonidas and his 300 Spartans, since Alexander the Great bequeathed his empire to the strongest and laid the foundations of the future. Since Rome rose and fell and the power vacuum that was created became filled and then fought over on the basis of conflicting out of this world ideologies. That's the real WMD. Your weapons of mass destruction, ancient grudges, and frozen ways of magical thinking that have no relationship to modern day reality and that still have arisen from beneath the permafrost of the Cold War like zombies in some low-budget horror film. Thanks to openness. Thanks to well-intended road to hell notions of tolerance that have spread the seeds of intolerance all across a borderless, multinational, flat world partying on a beach while the tsunami swells the horizon. You see, the sources of these means of annihilation are unalterable unassailable. They're embedded within the very anatomy of our species. Their cause is the drive for transcendence that exists within us all, in the fact that different people at different times, in different places, have developed different ways of scratching that particular psychological itch. Different rituals of transcendence and different systems that have served to set people against one another because of some pie-in-the-sky promise that's always been nothing more than wishful thinking born of impoverishment and deprivation. And what's going to stop it? What's going to contain the WMD that threatens to blow up the world like a big blue bomb? Only one thing. The fact that order always wins out over chaos. Eventually. In the end. Like it always has. Of course, that could take a few hundred years. And maybe that'd be a good thing. You know, a new dark ages with a worldwide economic collapse and the end of civilization as we know it, to save what would be left of the human race. Thing is, it's a pretty high price to pay, if you know what I mean. To my watch, it's 9 o'clock, so Janet, please come back.
Oh.
Thank you very much.
He's turning that awesome music off. But I have to say once more, because I don't think we were loud enough. Where's my man? Get on up here, my love.
Yeah. Please, get up one more time.
I know I've got a man over there that I just love more than life himself. Over there, but oh, I adore you. You have no idea. Oh my gosh! And I'll take your precious stuff because I don't want anything to happen to it. Oh, thank you so much, John Ogerson. And I'm double plus thrilled that, and I don't like talking about another open mic thing that I happen to be filling in for the Chicago Cultural Center, but he will be sharing the thing with the two other features, both on February 27th and March 27th. So, if you want more and more and more Jeff Ogerson, because I'm not video recording those, so you have to actually come on by at the noon o'clock hour at the Chicago Cultural Center. It'll be absolutely awesome. Now, I have to talk about people for future features. Now, in 2 weeks, count them two. It is February 13th, the day before Valentine's Day. And the feature is Alex Segona. And you guys are all like, what, Alex Segona, what, who, what? Alex Segona is his name. He's been published in Down in the Dirt in the past. In 2010 at the Cafe, I'm trying to say little things about him. In 2010 at the Cafe, he named the punchline for a joke and he won a book. He did. And he actually started a publication thing called Generationless Publications. And if you want to know anything about it, you can always look for it online. But he is a phenomenal reader. He's like, I've got to be able to get in here because...
What's the name, please?
Generationless Publications. I think it's something that's like, I even got to be in a little bit on it because, I published him in the past. But I think he's looking, I don't know what he's looking for specifically.
Are these the young kids that are
People that, there are Gen Xers, Gen Yers, then what the hell are we-ers? So he's generationless publications. That might have something to do with it. I don't know. So if you come in 2 weeks, you can actually ask him and find out about him because he's got really, really, really cool writing. So I'd love to see you and we'll have a romantic time together because he's so decorated with all these little hearts everywhere. It'll be a great thing for Valentine's Day. And 2 weeks after that, which happens to be when my first thing is at another open mic, which I will send people info about if anybody's interested, Virginia Hunt on February 27th happens to be the feature. And once we stroll on over to March, we've got Janina Rhapsody on the 13th, Tom Roby on the 27th of March. Oh yeah, give it up for the dynamic duo, taking up a whole month.
And if you want to know anything, I could go on and on about features, but if you want to know anything about it, always go to chaoticarts.org/thecafe. Look at the 2013 schedule. It's right there for you. Because I could just go on and on and on. But who wants to hear that? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so very much. I look forward to seeing you all in just 2 weeks. Thank you, thank you, thank you.